over the course of
Okay, just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake
President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants
in
this election to try to keep?
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an
you
invasion.
Should, honestly, you know what?
Away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings
would
be
ask,
much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President.
That's enough.
I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Wow. Was President Trump PO'd? Was he pissed off or what, folks? Was that great or was that great? We're going to go over that segment a little bit, but just take a look. Look at him. Look at his face right here, folks. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes right here going straight across to him. And look what happened. As soon as he moved off that podium, I thought he was going to come down here and say, I'm taking that microphone away from him. I'm going to grab that mic right over him. Jim Acosta wanted none of that. He gave after he held on that microphone from the lady, right? Oh, with the lady, he's going to hold on to it, be a man. As soon as President Trump makes a move off the podium, he gives the microphone right away and goes there. We're going to watch that in real time again, but just watch that. And the South China Post, they're basically saying that he snapped. He didn't snap. He's doing exactly what we all want him to do, folks. This is all of us sitting at home, yelling at the TV, yelling at the monitor, yelling at our computer, yelling at our cell phone, saying, man, if that was me, I would have told that guy off. I would have told him to shut up and sit his butt down, sit his ass down. That's exactly what I would have done. And he does it. He does exactly what we're thinking, because that's what any normal person would do. You're rude, you're intrusive, you're acting like an imbecile. Shut up, I don't want to hear from you anymore. On to somebody next in the press room. Amazing, amazing. We'll go over that again and let me continue on. But that's what we have on tap for you today, folks. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir. I give you my political prescription from my political perspective of what happens when President Trump collides with the media, when there's culture, when there's religion, when there's science, right? Everything out there just mixes up and collides. So let's get back to more of this press conference with Trump and the rest of the cackling hens in the media. We're going to do that right now. Just look at President Trump's face here as he's trying to listen to this idiot Jim Acosta, who is part of the SIMR, SIMR, stupid, idiotic, moronic, retarded, my acronym that I have. That's why it's a group of immigrants. He's described to President Trump, it's a group of immigrants, it's a group of people. They're just out there for a party and a picnic moving up to the United States of America. Let's continue.
Moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants
Demonized.
I
want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people? because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of
You know
miles
what?
away. That's
I
not
think
an
you
invasion.
should, honestly, you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's
think
not an
you
invasion.
should, honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN, and if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much
if
better.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President. If I,
That's
I was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks. have
That's
had-
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
You saw that right there, right? Pardon me, ma'am. He's like not letting her do anything inside there. Let's catch that one more time. Let's just take it back a few seconds there. And let's catch that.
President, I was
That's
going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks. have
That's
had-
it.
There it is. Look at that. You see the hand. He's holding it. She's trying to pull that mic away. He's not letting it go through there. And then take a look over here at his colleague. I wonder what he's thinking over here going, holy crap, Jim, what are you doing? Anyway, let's continue.
Enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about
pissed.
anything with
You
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Here he starts to walk. He gave up the microphone
President.
right there.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a
I've
very
worked-
rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts
Well,
his
I'm
butt
not a
like the
big
rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either. So
I understand.
That guy Peter comes to Jim's defense. Okay, in Jim's defense, I just want to say he's a diligent reporter. And President goes, "Nah, I don't like you either, Peter." Classic. That's exactly what we would have said. Exactly, exactly.
To be honest
So
with
so let me ask you a question, if I can. You repeatedly
you
said,
you aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly over the course
Okay,
of the
just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir, at the end of the campaign, you repeatedly said that Americans need to fear Democrats. You said it would unleash a wave of violent crime that endangers families everywhere. Why are you
Because
pitting
they're very weak on
Americans?
crime.
Why are
Excuse
you
me.
pitting
Excuse me.
Americans
Peter.
against one another, sir?
Peter, what are you trying to be him?
No, I'm
Peter,
just
let
asking
me
the question.
Let me just tell you. Very simple. Because they're very weak on crime.
On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also
I don't
saying
know why you'd
that
say
the
that. That's
president.
such a racist
There are
question.
some people that say
This is another race baiter, race hater, race traitor, Nakamichi or whatever her name is. And she looks at everything through the lens of black. That's all she can see. She doesn't see white. She doesn't see brown. She doesn't see red. She doesn't see anything else except total blackness. She is a vile, disgusting, racist, bigoted, so-called she's a faux journalist. She thinks she has a bona fides to be a journalist. She has absolutely nothing. Her credentials are absolutely zero. They're minimal. She only got that position because she happens to be black. That's it. And being a woman. But that intersectionality, that's what got her to this position. Nothing else. Her reporting is shoddy. Her reporting is crap. But she asks stupid, idiotic, moronic, retarded questions every time, trying to prop herself up as the paragon of virtue, the paragon, the pillar of knowledge. And that's so far from the truth. Anyways, let's continue to see how Donald Trump reacts to her. And I apologize for this lag inside here, but it's with the tape that was being done through
that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists
Oh, I
because
don't
of your
believe
rhetoric.
that. I don't
What do
believe
you make
that.
of that?
Let me tell you, it's a racist question.
Yes.
And Mr. President, I
I
want to
love
ask.
it. You know what the word is? I love our country. I do. You have nationalists, you have globalists. I also love the world, and I don't mind helping the world, but we have to straighten out our country first.
Yes.
There's a lot of problems.
And Miss,
America
Excuse me.
first.
To say that, what you said is so insulting to me. It's a very terrible thing that you said. Well, I'll give you I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please.
Here
Sit
she
down.
goes again.
I didn't call you. I didn't call you.
Yakamichi.
I didn't call you. I'll give you voter suppression. Take a look at the CNN polls, how inaccurate they were. That's called voter suppression. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not responding. I'm responding to. Excuse me. I'm not responding to you. I'm talking to this gentleman. Will you please sit down? Excuse me. Would you please sit down? Now, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that the House of
Very
Representatives
hostile.
has fled,
It's such a hostile media. It's so sad. You asked me about. No, you rudely interrupted him. Go ahead.
And, the majority of the press, I think, is pretty respectful, or at least they act in a respectful way in the press conference. They may have their own bad opinions about President Trump. And I would say, at least in the press room, you only have a handful of people, but that's because they want to be the center of attention. They're just egomaniacs. Instead of asking the questions in a nice way, it's the insulting way, the condescending way in which they ask these questions. And that's what they want to be. Jim Acosta, he's not asking the question so he can get an answer. He's asking the question so he can go to his colleagues and they can say in silence to him, "Hey, Jim, man, way to go." And they're patting him on the back, patting him on his derriere. They themselves would never do that because they don't want to be, talked about in the press or in the media. They just want to do their jobs, and they'll do their stuff from behind the scenes. They won't do it. They won't confront Trump. And not confronting him in a means of trying to get information, but confronting him in a means of being disrespectful. That's all these people are doing. Acosta and Yakamichi or Nakamichi, whatever her name is. All right. That's what's going on. Anyways, I'm glad that's the way that President Trump treated these, I guess, for lack of a better word, these performers. And that's exactly what we would have wanted to do, right? We sit there, armchair quarterback, and go, "Oh, man, that's what I would have done. I would have told him off. I would have told him exactly." And now we have a president that's doing exactly that. Exactly that. But the press doesn't want to hear about it. Oh, no, they're thinking that he's the obnoxious one. He's the one that's being belligerent. He's the one that's, taking down the office of the presidency, that his antics are the ones, that are shameful. No. It's just the actual opposite. We know the narrative they're trying to spin, and that's not it. And we're glad we have a president finally is sticking it back to these guys where the sticking is good. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir, and if you haven't done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel, like, share, and follow. You all know what to do. Share your comments below. Take a look at our other video links above and below. My final comment is, when you're right, and President Trump is so right. And when you're left, you're like these losers, Jim Acosta and Yakanakamichi. They're so wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.